Hello, I'm Howard, pastor of the Roseville New Church, and welcome to Spiritual Shorts. It is my great honor this week to preside over the celebration of the Sydney Society of the New Church's 150th anniversary. The Sydney Society of the New Church is known locally as the Roseville New Church. Think about that, 150 years since a group of people in Sydney lit a flame that's never gone out. Emanuel Swedenborg never called for the creation of a church organization. He just wrote what was shown to him by the Lord. His first books, they barely sold any copies. His first readers, they didn't even talk about forming a church until well after he had passed. Churches, both Catholic and Protestant, they rejected his writing as heresy, and still do today. And yet, small pockets of readers of Swedenborg began to form. Early founders of this society were such a pocket. Think about that. They had no pope, no powerful institution behind them. They didn't even have full-time ministers for the first 85 years. Just the Word and a conviction that God is love and we are free to experience the second coming of the Lord here and now, not at some cataclysmic date in the future. So what kept this community alive for a century and a half? Well, it wasn't tradition. It wasn't hierarchy. It was transformation. It was people who had encountered a vision of God so radical that it redefined religion. A God who is pure love, not wrath. A salvation that comes through a life of usefulness and not just belief. A scripture that has a soul, an inner light that speaks to the heart. A second coming that's not in the clouds of the sky, but in the clouds of the Word and the clouds of the mind. Awakening light in the human mind. These weren't just ideas. They were marching orders for a new kind of church. Not a fortress, but a flame. Not a power structure, but a fellowship of free people, choosing love of the Lord and love for the neighbor. And that's what's kept us going. People who open their homes for worship, people who gather together and work together to make it happen. People who speak the truth gently and live with a radical compassion. You don't need a big cathedral to make church happen. You just need a heart lit by love. Love for the Lord and love for the neighbor. And a willingness to live that love. Now, if you're wondering what makes all this so radical, well, we actually explored that in another video, and you can find a link to that right here, or maybe here. I never quite know until after post-production. But for today, I just want to say this. Happy 150th Sydney Society of the New Church in Roseville. Thank you for proving that the church of the future, it's one that's lived. So let's keep living it, because God is love and we are free. God bless you.